Hey guys, I understand that quite a bit of you are having trouble with the pretest. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the first one for you and model how to do it. Um, I know there's an example here and I figured that you would know the example, but I'm gonna go ahead and explain it again anyway, okay? So if you see here, they have the word projectile and that was your example. What you are supposed to do is to separate it by morphemes. Remember that morphemes are prefixes, roots, and suffixes, okay? Sometimes there's two prefixes, sometimes there's two suffixes. That's why they gave you 4 boxes. It's not necessary to use every single box if the word only has 3 parts, just like this first word, okay? So after they separated, they looked at the list. This is the list. I gave you a copy of one. They found the prefix pro, they found the prefix ject, and they found the prefix isle. Okay? After they found the prefixes and separated them by morpheme, right? They looked on their list and they looked up the definition or meaning of each morpheme. So pro meant forward, ject meant throw, and isle meant relating to. So now that they know what each word part means, they are able to come up with their own made-up definition. Not a looked-up definition, a made-up definition. So they have forward, throw, and relating to. So they made their own definitions that said relating to throwing forward, which makes pretty good sense because I've heard that word projectile before. Okay, so I'm gonna do malediction. Now I need to separate it. So my first instinct would be to go to my list and see if they have any words with mal. They have mal and they have mal-e. Okay, and they both mean the same thing. Okay, if I look on here again, they have the prefix e. So that tells me that this is a compound prefix. So I'm gonna put mal, I'm gonna put e here. And now I'm gonna look for the root word. And I'm thinking that my root word is gonna start with a D. So if I look in the root word list, which mine is color coded, yours, however, have been separated and printed equally on Google Classroom. I look down in the D's and sure enough, DIC and DICT are there. So I'm going to put DIC and pending T. Well, there's not, I'm gonna look in my suffixes because that's at the end of the word, and there's no ION. So I'm only gonna have to use DIC. But there is a TION. So I'm gonna put TION here. Okay, so far so good. I've spread them out into word parts. So now I'm going to write down the definition of each one. So I'm gonna look on my list again, and it looks like mal means bad or evil. And then I look up the definition for E, and it means out of, from. Then I'm going to look up the root word dic or DIC, and it means speak or say. And then I'm gonna look up our suffix TION, which means act, result, or state of. Okay, so I'm gonna take these definitions from each word part and I'm gonna come up with a definition of my own. So I may say the act of speaking, maybe the results, the act of saying bad or evil. And that's my definition. If I were to look up malediction, which I already happen to know what that means, malediction is spreading evil or telling somebody bad. So my definition would be pretty close. And that's all you're expected to do. Is this expected to be right? No. It's just supposed to be your best guess of what the definition should be. So what I'm looking for is that you broke it apart by word parts correctly, that you gave me the definition of those word parts, and that you came up with your own definition of what you think that this word means. And so there's 4 in the front and there's more in the back. Okay. If you scroll down, there should be the second page. If you look at here, it wants you to write the definition of each word below. So again, you can't use the dictionary. So if you're not able to use the dictionary, then you would have to break these words apart. So they didn't give you the boxes to break those apart, but you could try to break those apart. And right now, I know that port is a prefix, and able is a prefix. So if I look on my definitions, and it's not necessary for me to write them down, port, where are you, port? Oh, that's right. Port is a root word. It can also be, which root words are awesome because they could be used as a prefix or a suffix. So I'm gonna find it in the green for me. And port means to carry. And if port means to carry, and I go look up able, which is a suffix, which means can be done, I would say that portable means able to carry. So I hope this helps you some when completing this quiz. Remember that it's not for a grade in the grade book. However, it is a grade just to see if you've made some improvement by the end of the unit. Also, turning this in is gonna give you attendance for Wednesday. So I encourage you to get this done as soon as possible.